was.
of the live stream, yeah, and figure out. All right, so
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see, does it give a notification out, or it's got to. Well, it's going to notify the subscribers we have, right?
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, because I get them, from the channels I follow when they're going live.
We're rolling too.
We're rolling.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
up and live.
Cool deal.
So midweek podcast, huh?
Yeah, try this.
Yeah, you said
See
you
how it
wanted to try
does.
it during the week. And see how it went.
Yeah, I think giving some more content out would be a good thing.
Yeah, I was talking to my aunt last night. And my mom, we were FaceTiming, and she wanted to see the dog. So we were FaceTiming, we're talking. We got talking about local politics, and we're talking
Yeah.
about the compactor facility that we used to have.
Right.
And we're talking about disposing of, like, she was saying that springtime she empties her snowblower gas and they have a facility down there they can go drop off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, gas and shit. And I started telling her about how our transfer facility used to be able to take used motor oil there.
Yeah.
And they had I don't know what you call it, like a poly tank. They got the metal frame around them.
Yep.
And they got a spin-off cap right in the center, and they're like milky white where you can see the liquid level in them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And so
yeah, the big square ones you move around with the fork truck.
Yeah. And it was in a shed.
Yeah, I had one that was for water. Remember?
Yeah. They had it in a shed there.
Right.
And so when I changed my oil, I used to take it over there versus driving all the way to town to the auto parts store, right?
Yeah.
And one day I went there and I had the oil, and the guy told me, he said, we can't collect it anymore. I'm like, what? He goes, somebody called and complained. He said the EPA came out and said we weren't collecting it right. We didn't have I can only imagine
the regulations that they
right
got
to
for
collect.
That.
Right. And I'm like, okay, we live in a pretty poor community.
Right.
So now if they don't collect it there, where does all that oil go?
Right. You know where it's going.
Right into the freaking trash, right?
Yep, exactly. If you're lucky, it's going in the trash and not like the ditch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I told my aunt, I said the response from the EPA should have been, look, we know that this township does not have a lot of money. For the time being, we got to stop this, but we're going to get you funding and help you get set up so you can.
Let's get you set up
so you can collect oil responsibly, so it doesn't end up in the trash.
Wow.
But no, they just shut it right down.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm like, how?
I kind of wondered, like, with oil, when they drill and they pump crude, like, only a percentage of it can be refined, right, into gasoline. A lot of it is they use for grease, lubricants, motor oil, things like that. So I wonder when you have diesel. Yep. Yeah, so when you have plastic, that used asphalt, oil, it goes in everything, right? Yeah. I wonder why they don't just recycle that and make like gear grease out of it or something.
Well, they make oil. They make oil out of it now. They actually oil.
What do they filter
it? They recycle motor oil.
Yeah.
If you look, I'm sure they all do it now, but I've seen it on Valvoline. Yeah, and it.
Yeah, it was just something I kind of wondered about, because I thought, well, if some of the biggest parts of crude, I think I read it was like 60% of the oil that they bring up out of the ground cannot be used for gasoline. It's not at the quality that's refinable for fuel, but it's used for everything else. And I thought, well, why don't they use this used motor oil for? Man, you would think you could make grease out of it or something. So
you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50%.
So then tell me this: why in the hell is Valvoline charging you?
And people are watching. I know you guys can't hear or see this, but what Valvoline makes, it's called Next Gen, and it says that half of the oil in there is recycled.
Wow.
Oh, make sure you like, share, subscribe,
yeah,
ring the bell.
Give us a thumbs up.
Rate it. wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify,
We're on
Amazon,
everything.
Rumble, Minds,
Truth
Instagram.
Social? Are we on Truth? No,
we're not on
not
Truth.
yet.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Instagram.
Yep.
We're on
Twitter.
almost anything.
Yep.
Yeah, Twitter.
Go on there, follow, leave a comment. We post there very regularly. Anyways, so yeah, they do recycle.
So tell me, why are they charging you to dispose of it then? If they're
they don't charge you.
They don't.
No, it's free to drop it off at the auto parts store. Yep.
Because I remember.
But how many people are going to drive? It's 17 miles from here into town.
Right. To get
how many people are
6 quarts?
No, most they're going to throw it right in the garbage.
Yeah.
And that's how backwards it is. Instead of an EPA regulator going, hey, to ensure this doesn't happen, to protect the environment. Because what also brought this up.
Because the EPA is not meant to help you. It's meant to punish you, to, fine you, to control you, instead of, help you. You know what I mean? I don't think their mission statement, if they have one mounted on a wall somewhere in their main office, says, let's help Mother Earth to be better. It's
that's the point, though.
That's what it's supposed to be. But I don't.
It was always the environment,
right? But it was always used as a, an arm of law enforcement, right?
Well,
it was corrupted from the get-go. So,
well, all government has some level of.
Yeah, but I think the
corruption.
EPA is probably in line with the FBI and, some of the worst, I think.
I was trying to see if they had an actual mission statement to protect human health and the environment.
Yep.
Yeah, in that instant, they weren't protecting the environment.
No, not at all.
Because majority of that oil that they were at least attempting to capture.
At least they were trying.
Right. Because what led to that is now we have trash pickup, right?
Right.
Because that facility got shut down. We don't have recycling, though. We had recycling there.
Right, and now you don't.
They had 3 roll-off containers just for cardboard, and they had one huge one that was probably 20 feet long, 8 feet wide, and all those recycling containers were always full.
Right.
As fast as they could empty them, they were filled again.
Yeah, I think people try to do the right shit.
Now, where does all that shit go, though?
In the trash.
In the trash.
Yep.
Now, we still take our cardboard, but we have to drive almost 25 miles to recycle our cardboard to the other, not only to town, but to the other side of town. And they're only open specific hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So the majority of people are just going to right in the garbage now.
Right in the trash.
So what benefit?
It doesn't help.
I don't get it. I don't get how they could negotiate that contract for trash pickup and not negotiate recycling, or at least leave roll-off containers over there in the parking lot for people to throw their shit in, recycle it.
Yeah, at least keep the recycling there. Yeah. They could have used it for a little satellite recycling center.
Yeah. What would it have cost just to have the roll-off containers there and have them emptied? You're telling me there's not grants out there
there should be
to help with recycling?
I mean,
especially in a poor community like this.
The EPA, I mean, they're all about Mother Earth, right? So, it's
which they had nothing to do with the contract, but you would think there's enough resources out there, grants and programs to provide financing.
We're giving $72 billion to the Ukraine. I'm gonna bring that shit up again, over and over and over.
Yeah.
But we can't, set a little money aside for little communities to have a recycling center.
Right.
Make it convenient for people to throw that shit in recycling instead of in the landfill.
Well, there's a lot of places that money could have gone. Sure.
And it's not, like I said 100 times, I'm not an environmentalist, but I believe strongly in taking good care of the earth. And man, some of the videos I watched of just trash in the oceans and plastic water bottles, washing up on these beaches were just full. And then,
which is disconcerting because I didn't watch. I listened to a podcast where they're talking about the dirty little secret about recycling.
Well, that now there is a whole business that I read about that, people collecting this stuff, and it actually created a lot of jobs, and it gave some of these poor areas, these coastlines that were full of poverty, like, some income and stuff, but because can't I what they melt that shit down and recycle it too.
Which
What
now
they make
aluminum,
lubricants and shit out of the plastics.
aluminum is the one that they said is the most consistently recycled, the highest volume of collected. I was trying to find it in here. I wanted to find a reliable source.
And I know for every sea turtle you find that's got a straw in its nose, like there's 100,000 turtles that are just fine. I get it how they can make a narrative, right? Paint the picture to look like whatever they want, but there was a lot of goddamn trash on those beaches, man. And I read a lot of it was from cruise ships. Just they throw their shit overboard.
Right, and that's what kind of the consensus I was getting is countries are like, yeah, we'll pay us to take it and we'll go recycle it, and then it's like,
yeah.
And I was trying to find a.
You know what I thought? It was a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, why don't we just shoot that shit into space?
Right, launch it at the sun. I mean?
Yeah, right.
I think it's the sheer volume.
Dump it on the moon. Let's start a landfill there.
Well, I just don't think they can get enough in a ship.
What I thought
they'd be launching a ship every half hour.
We probably are with satellite. What there's 300,000 or a million satellites circling the Earth, orbiting it all the time.
How many?
It was an astronomical.
Let's find out.
Yeah, look it up. It was mind blowing.
No, I'm onto this now. Jeez.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole we go.
Right?
Yeah. I know that when you brought up the map, you could hardly see the Earth. There's so many. I was shocked that there's that much, but I thought, well, if you put it in a low orbit, right, it's going to re-enter. And what does everything do when it re-enters the Earth? It burns up in the atmosphere. So, I mean, incinerate it.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. Yeah. What do we got?
Oh.
So this is in 1957.
So as of the total since 2021, 7,500 satellites in LEO as of September of 2021.
Low Earth orbit.
Yep, low Earth orbit.
Yep. 7,500.
Wow. I know the map's crazy. When you
let's look at that.
Yeah.
I know.
They have a live action map, and it shows the position, which was kind of crazy that you can look up each satellite and where they're at in orbit, and man, you would think that'd be kind of dangerous if your enemies wanted to fuck with you. I mean, they'd shoot down one of the telecommunication satellites, like, oh, there goes Verizon, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, look at those maps. They're crazy. Insane.
7,000. And then what? They have to stay like 1,000 miles apart?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Is it going to show it to me? I'm not accepting your bullshit.
So, it was just something I was thinking, like, I wonder why they don't just burn the shit up in the atmosphere. I mean, we have incinerators, but my understanding, and, I'm not a fucking scientist, I don't know, but burning the shit down here, right? Because we did incinerate a lot of trash before, but it creates a lot of carbon and nasty shit in the atmosphere that you don't want. But if in the upper atmosphere like that, I wonder if it would give you the same contamination. Or like I said, you know what? Put it on a barge and just shoot it into space on a collision course of, it's going to go for 1,000,000 years until it hits something. Who knows? Maybe we'll piss some aliens off and, they'll come and visit.
There's that live.
Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty wild.
Yeah. That's a lot of satellites. So, I mean, you're launching them. They're re-entering and they're being launched all the time. So, piggyback. Throw some trash on the rocket, too.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's the one I was telling you about. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, if you get a chance out there.
I wonder if, you know what? I wonder. Let me see if I can do it this way so that we can show people.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to capture my screen so
Okay,
people can see it.
let's see if I can do it this way. Let's see if
Yeah, kind of.
can you kind of see it
Yeah,
a little
rotate your
bit?
phone sideways, maybe. Yeah,
See if it'll
Oh,
flip.
it won't. Yeah, I thought it'd flip,
It
but
didn't.
no,
Oh, it didn't.
kind of.
Oh, it's smaller. It flipped, but it's
Yeah,
smaller. But let me blow it up a little. Can you see that?
yeah, I can see it pretty good.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's insane,
yeah,
man.
that's
Like, wow, you can barely even see the Earth. There's so
right,
much
right,
junk up there.
right.
You know.
Well,
And
yeah.
some of it, I mean, there's a lot of good satellites that we're using, but there's a lot of old, like, there's shit in there from the 50s,
How
you know?
How many decommissioned satellites?
Yeah, I'd be curious, you know? Man, this is all about science. Follow the science.
How many satellites over the Earth? RG. Come on. Not gonna give it to me? In real time here, folks.
Yep,
I know I didn't spell that right.
gotta love it. Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
How many satellites? I don't know how to word that. How many satellites are
Dead in space.
working? It's funny how you gotta kind of simplify your questions sometimes. I was hoping they'd give me.
But I know
like
some
an
of them,
actual
like, they
number.
give you an event, right? Like, you know, the weather app will tell you, you know, there's a re-entry that's going to burn up because it's, you know, big giant shooting star as it breaks up, and you know, it's kind of a neat event to see if it happens to, you know, come down in your area or above your
Right,
area.
right. Oh, you see that?
What?
The U.S. has 683 failed satellites still in orbit. Russia has 1,318.
Yeah. I think they should, you know, build the next space station, right?
Yeah.
And now we're catching rides with them, our astronauts. Now that we don't have space shuttles anymore. It's a rabbit hole, man. Once you start going down there, it's like, it's crazy. It's just amazing.
Almost 2,690 pieces of space junk.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that they were saying with the International Space Station, like, it's constantly in risk of being hit with debris, garbage. But that's what I'm saying. Why couldn't you just...
That's interesting.
Know, I don't know if a scientist ever happens to trip over this video and, like, you know, put the answer in there, man. Tell me why we can't burn that shit in the upper atmosphere and incinerate it that way, or just shoot it.
I would assume it's just the sheer volume.
Maybe, yeah. But there's got to be a better way than, like, you know, mountain junk more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we drive by them on the expressways.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, like, and I thought, man, you know, if you're gonna build these mountains of garbage, cover them with snow and, you know, serve hot cocoa and let kids sled on the damn thing.
I think they are starting to convert some of those to ski hills.
Yeah.
I know they're pumping methane out and they're actually using it to produce energy.
Right.
They said
and then, I mean, if you listen to, like, Ian from Pool, like, was it graphene or whatever? He's always, like, you know, there's all kinds of shit that's cutting edge technology that he brings up all the time. And I thought, wow, man, why are we not doing that then? If we can do that technology exists, it's control. It's, you know, it's like, why, if we can actually design a car right now that could get 300 miles to the gallon, but we won't, right? Because, or, you know, washing machines that used to last 30 years now last 5.
Yeah, that's pure consumerism. That's they latched on. Part of the
making money.
Well, a lot of that's our own fault by always wanting the next better greatest thing. So why are they going to make a washing machine last for 20 years
Well, that was
if they know
marketing
you're going to want a new
that
one in
did that.
10?
It was marketing that convinced you that you
Right.
needed that, right?
Well, we did it for
Only
ourselves,
because
keeping up with the
I was
Joneses.
in that field for a long time as a repairman, and I actually worked for Maytag. Man, we'd rebuild those machines and send them out for another 15 years. You know,
Right, but I'm
they were
saying,
like the
uh,
Maytag customer always kind of prided themselves on those machines lasting forever. But I think as like TV commercials, like advertising really started to kind of weigh on people that you had to keep up with the Joneses, right? You see them getting a new washer, like, man, this one's hard, it's Harvest Gold or, avocado green, like, wow, that new one's got like digital readout. Like, I want that. And now everything, our TVs,
I
like,
think it's, I don't know that. I think advertising is just capitalizing on our own instincts. There's something in us that drives innovation that wants us.
sure,
I
for
don't have
innovation,
to
but
watch a commercial
people
about a
never
new.
ate bacon for breakfast until they were brainwashed by media that it was, eggs, toast, and bacon was the way to go, baby. Start your day out right.
Right.
And it was because the pig farmers wanted to sell more bacon.
Right, but
At least that's what I
there,
learned in
there,
college. Now, granted,
there,
it is college, so take it with a grain of
but
salt.
there's
But
something about technology in humans that's unique.
sure,
That we strive for better, faster technology. There's something in us.
right
Like I was saying, they don't have to advertise the new iPhone very hard. They just got to put it out that it's available now.
now,
The
right,
commercials used to
yeah.
be pretty.
And I used to like advertising.
Yeah.
Like, I
Well,
used to love watching like commercials and kind of the ones that were smart.
Yeah.
That were really just someone put a lot of thought in that
Yeah,
marketing. I love
that's what I
marketing
was gonna say.
classes.
I used to appreciate
Yeah,
the
there
video
was an art
editing and
to
the
it.
quality. Yeah, like wow,
Now,
like they'd show like I don't know what generation iPhone, but this whole commercial was filmed on
right,
this iPhone, the new one.
yeah,
I'm like, wow, that's cool. That
yep,
they filmed the whole commercial, edit it
yeah, all off the
off
phone
the
to
phone.
show you what it
Wow,
can
that's
do.
cool.
Really
Right,
highlight it.
right.
Yeah.
But there's something unique. I think it's too simplistic to just blame it on some advertisers with some catchy phrases and some flashy still
Well, I
shots.
think once they
I,
started us down that rabbit hole, it just you build momentum. You know what I mean? Now it's
yeah.
self-sustaining that we want the newest, greatest, latest thing. I think at one time, we were very much conditioned. If your microwave broke, you called the repairman. Now you just throw it in the trash and you get a new one.
Well, I think the costs have come down to a point that we can afford to
Well,
just
I think
replace it with a
I
new
think
one.
that went with advertising, right? As they were trying to convince us so that they sell. Look, Whirlpool doesn't want to sell you 2 microwaves in a lifetime. If they can
Right.
sell you 10, right?
But
So they got to bring the price down.
But they don't have to make one fail earlier because they know you're gonna
They
want
they
a newer
absolutely
model.
know that they're going to fail sooner, though.
But again,
They're
why
putting cheap parts in there
why
to
make
save
it
profits, right?
why build it to last 20 years if they know you're gonna want a new one in 7?
Yeah. See, I still think it's
Why?
just more brainwash that we
You
need.
still, I know you haven't answered my question though. If like your cell phone, right?
Right.
Why make people say, oh, it seems like it starts failing about the time my contract's up. Well, that's because the average person only keeps a cell phone for like 18 months. So why would they build it to last 5 years if they know you're going to want a new one every 24 to 36 months anyways?
But there was a point where people didn't want a new one, right? It was look, when you go back to like your grandparents, they saved aluminum foil. Oh, this ain't that dirty. They'd fold it up and put it in the drawer because they went without, right? They had some hardships and they learned to hold on to shit, to just save everything, to use it until the tires fell off. When I was young, my parents didn't get a new car every 2 years. There was no such thing as leasing. Now
But
why would an automaker manufacturer want to produce a car that's going to last 20 years and sell you one every 20 years when they can sell you one every 5? When they know that they're putting cheaper parts in it.
You're making my point for me. Why would they want to build a car that lasts 20 years if they know you're going to want a new one every 5?
But they only know that because they brainwash people into thinking that now you kind of have to, right? I mean, because the cost either, and I know because I'm going through some auto repairs myself on that, and then it's trying to balance it out between you have a car payment each month for the rest of your life, or the
or
damn thing
not.
nickels and dimes you, if you're actually using it as your main transportation. Like, it just seems like every month now it's, once it crests, it just,
Or
you're
not.
constantly dumping money into it.
Or not have a car payment every day for the rest of your life.
Well, I mean, either way, like, I have, I don't know, over $1,000 in repairs
right,
in less than 60 days
right,
on a vehicle. Like,
right.
I guess it'd be easier when they say, look, you can have a brand new car or truck and it's $250 a month or $350 a month for a lease,
Uh,
15,000 mile a year. Like, I don't know.
yeah, but who drives 15,000 miles a year?
Yeah, well, no one in rural
Right.
areas, that's for sure. But that's how they get you on that too, because then you over miles, and then they
I think
charge you
we've
for
done it,
that when you
so I
try to
can't
turn it
believe.
in.
I think it's just a natural human trait to want more, better, faster,
Hmm.
lighter,
Yeah,
shinier.
maybe.
I
I
think it's
just
always
think
been a human
humans
trait.
have been the same way for a million years, and then like we have this just light year jump, right, in technology. We've talked
Yeah.
about that. If I think if it was just in our DNA, like we would have had cell phones 300 years ago.
Well, it takes time
You
for
know what I mean?
innovation. Yeah, we don't know what the spark was, the trigger for the microprocessor,
Right.
whatever it was. We don't know what that
I mean,
trigger
it's
was,
just
but there
weird
was
that
something
humans were
significantly
that
happened
happened, sure.
once that
Alien technology,
right. Who knows?
reverse engineering,
Right. But
Roswell.
once that spark found the tinder, there was no putting that fire
Yeah,
out.
I just think it started from advertising. I think like it
I
was
just
really
can't
bad for
believe.
humans
I just
that
can't believe that advertisers could be that convincing.
I don't know, man. I know you can see a commercial for food on and it looks good, and all of a sudden, man, you're in line to at the drive-through to go and get it.
No, not.
Not you, but a lot of people. I mean, that's a $1 billion company for a reason. So the majority of people for sure
Mm.
do. And I know that you look at X burger on TV and it looks. You open the box, it never looks that good. It should be false advertisement, but I believe they call it fluffery. They're allowed so much,
Mm-hmm.
distortion. But I think advertising works, or they just we're constantly bombarded with it anymore. God, I can't even open the weather app without it like sending me two different advertisements that I got to X out of that. And now you can't even close them right away. It takes 5, 10, whatever, 5, 6, 7 seconds before it'll even bring up the icon to X out of it. And I'm like, is there nothing that is safe from advertising anymore? I think we're just
Well,
constant. You
advertisers
know what I
obviously
mean?
they want to sell, right?
So
So
it
they're trying to put
works.
their product in front of you. How many of those ads
You
do you
know,
click on? I don't click on them.
actually,
I
every once in a while,
I
one will get me.
I have a photo editor program that I
Yeah.
use for Instagram, and I've never clicked on a freaking ad in
Yeah.
that thing, and I've had it for
There's
4 years.
actually, I'll shamefully admit I've even ordered a few things like,
So
and
no harm,
obviously
no foul.
the smartphone knows how to advertise to you, right? We've had that
Yeah.
discussion. Like you're having a conversation, and the next thing you know, Facebook or Instagram's like bombarded with these advertisements for
But
it.
you
But
didn't have to order
you
it
know,
though.
no, and people didn't have to buy a car every 2 years, but
Well, they
I
still
they
don't.
do now,
Well, they still
unless
don't.
they unless they want to deal with auto repairs. And
Right, like,
there was a time where if you were a decent backyard mechanic, like you could do a lot of repairs yourself even. But now it's even getting to the point where some of that stuff
but
you can't
I mean,
repair yourself.
I've owned that truck for 12 years. It was
Hmm.
paid off in the first 4.
Right,
It's rusty, but it's
but you
still
don't. Do you drive it every day? Is that your main
it's not my
vehicle?
main vehicle,
Yeah.
but
So to have a backup, sure. And my
uh,
truck, hey, I'm keeping it till the tires fall off,
right.
right?
But
Like
the fact that that's a problem with that,
I dump
I
all that
guess it's
money
not
in
even
that
a problem.
for a reason because I plan on keeping that
Right.
truck forever. I do. Like my trucks, man, they are just done. By the time I'm ready to get another one, it's it's not even worth putting money into it anymore. But I can see why people they're busy. They don't want to have to go to the goddamn mechanic once a month to take. You just get frustrated. Like it just seems like it's always breaking down.
But is it because they didn't do preventative maintenance? See,
Some
this
of
is the
it,
problem I have. People buy a vehicle, and it's X amount of dollars, and they sit down and they go, okay,
right,
we're only going to eat out once a week now, and blah blah blah. We're going to cut back on these 2 or 3 things, and we can just afford the payment and the insurance.
right.
But they don't factor in the maintenance.
Right. Tires, brakes,
oil changes, differential fluid changes, whatever. Just the basic preventative
wiper
maintenance.
blades.
Right.
$20
just the
each.
Basic preventative maintenance.
Right.
They don't factor that in. Then all of a sudden you need $1,000 worth of tires, and they're like, oh, what do we do now? And the CV shaft went out and it's $380. Now what do we do?
Brilliant car salesman that never told them any of that either.
But they shouldn't need a car salesman to hold their hand and let them know that there's maintenance on a vehicle.
Yeah, but when you got a million other things on your mind, I mean, you should be able to. When you tell a salesman, and again, man, I was in that field, and there's just a lot of slimy shit.
I know, but I don't think any of the responsibility falls on the dealership.
Shops, you know what I mean? They're payment shopping now. It's transitioned from like the overall price of the vehicle. You see customers come in now, and it's like, and salesmen, they helped facilitate this, because they would drive people. I've seen it a thousand times where, I want to spend $20,000 on a vehicle. Well, yeah, but what's your monthly payment? What are you trying to get at? Because I could get you this better, newer vehicle for the same payment. Wouldn't you want that one instead? I mean, there's a lot of that. So I think it's conditioned.
I think that
it's helped condition people.
I think it's a really disingenuous way of shifting personal responsibility off the individual.
I think there's some, personal responsibility too. But
I think it's personal responsibility.
It's unfair to if someone gets manipulated, to say that it's like impossible for someone to be manipulated. Like,
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's removing the personal responsibility from that individual.
I guess I think see it a little different.
I think people need to be held more accountable for their actions, and they're doing their own homework and figuring this shit out ahead of time before they ever step foot in a dealership. There are endless YouTube videos at this moment. You can go on, and it's salesmen and former salesmen. They'll walk you through how not to get screwed at a dealership purchasing a car. Sure. They tell you the do's and don'ts. They sit down with a whiteboard.
I still know people who never use YouTube though. Don't even know how. You know what I mean? You're still you're dealing with people that this is still brand new to them.
We're not talking about we're not talking about a 7-year-old here. We're talking about young people.
Actually, I was just talking to someone that was my age that said I'm kind of technology literate. I've never used that stuff. I don't. It was a conversation I just had a couple days ago. I was a little shocked,
but those still have to be the fringes.
Like, I live on social media, right? YouTube.
Those still have to be the fringes.
Yeah, I think
I'm talking about the masses. I think it's a laziness, and I think it's a way.
Facebook.
I think it's a laziness, and it's a way to push off personal responsibility.
Maybe.
So that when something does go wrong, well, the salesman never told me that. It's a way for them to not have to deal with their decisions.
I think it's. I do believe in personal responsibility for sure, but I also believe that there's a lot of nasty people that just take advantage of it, and they shouldn't.
But nobody makes you buy the car.
They talk you into it. You know what I mean? Like I've watched salesmen take keys away from people and refuse to give them their keys back. High pressured sales. They're called gypsy sales.
Then they should call the cops.
They advertise it all the time. You hear it on the radio that there's this big sales happening next Saturday, and we're gonna have X many extra cars and vehicles on the lot, and they bring in like closers. They're high pressured closers. They don't even work for that company typically. They just come in and they close deals. All they do is sit at a desk. You're a salesman. You go, you grab someone, You bring them in, you set them down with this person, and this person just
Well,
pounds them until they submit.
I'm gonna help everybody out
You know?
there. The few people that do listen to this video,
Yeah, the couple listeners that we got.
walk away.
Yeah.
Walk the fuck away.
I always
Don't let
do.
anybody ever pressure you into buying a goddamn thing.
Yep. I
Walk
always walk
the
away.
fuck away.
Even when I want to buy it, I walk
I don't
away.
care how bad you. There's more of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's another place. Shop around.
Yep.
Never get yourself in such a desperate situation you have to settle and get screwed.
Right.
I don't care how bad you need the car. Never sit down and let somebody talk you into buying something you didn't want or you cannot afford. Walk the hell away.
Man, they play a lot of mind games, man. Like I told
Then
you, he who talks first loses. Like,
then I'm gonna share my own personal story right here with that truck I was just talking about. When I walked into that dealership, I already had the Carfax on it, and I had the KBB printout of what I should pay for that truck. So I already knew ahead of time. I already did it. Yes, you're gonna have to do a little bit of work. You're going to have to get on the internet and type in a couple things. It's going to take you about 15 minutes to print them out. And I walked in there, and they wanted over $25,000 for that truck.
Yeah.
And I said, we took it for a test drive, come back, sit at his desk, and he's like, oh, what do you think? I said, oh, it's a nice truck.
Play the game. You know?
He's like, well, and I said, well, how much movement do you got? Well, I think we have about $700 in movement. I said, what?
Wow.
I'm like, no. I said, I know what I should pay for this truck because I know about what you paid for it when you took it in on trade. Well, let me go talk to my manager. And, of course, he goes over there and he's gone for about 15 minutes and comes back. He's like, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, they went over there and they ate a donut, smoked a couple cigarettes. They leave you sitting in there on purpose.
He come back and he said, it wasn't easy, but I got him to come down $1,300 on it. And I told my wife, I said, let's go.
Yep.
And she goes, what? I said, we're going. And she goes, do you want your papers? Because I had the papers on his desk. I showed him, this is what you paid for trade-in maybe. You probably paid less than that because you gave the guy before me the work over on it.
Yeah, you know it.
Right? I said, so you probably only paid like $14 for it. And now you're trying to sell it to me for $25? $9,000 markup?
It works.
I did math wrong there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways. And so I stood up. My wife's like, do you want your papers? I'm like, no, I don't want them. And we walked out of there. And I shit you not, the next day, 11 o'clock, he called. And he said, hey, talk to my manager. I'm really sorry if I offended you guys.
Right.
We'd like you to come in and talk to us again. And I said, okay, I'll come in and give you one more shot.
Right.
And I went in after work. And I didn't even sit. I stood in front of his desk. And I said, look, I'm going over to the Ford dealership. The salesman's name is Steve. I know you guys all know each other. Call him. I'm going to drive a truck over there. By the time I get back, I want the bottom price you can get on this truck.
Right.
He didn't even give me what they said they'd come down at this point. I just walked in, stood in front of his desk. I didn't sit down. I said, call Steve. I'm not brand loyal. I don't give a shit if I buy your truck or his truck. I'm buying a truck.
Right.
And we left. In all fairness, I didn't actually go back and talk. I had talked to Steve about a Ford over at the Ford dealership.
Yeah.
My wife and I went and had dinner. And I came back. Miraculously, they came down to $20,000 out the door, tax and title, and plate transfer. In one day, the value of the truck dropped $6,000.
Right.
And they put a tonneau cover on it.
How many people wouldn't have gotten that?
So I hope that helps somebody out there. Don't ever paint yourself into a corner. Go to different. Do exactly what I did.
I was a car salesman, man. I'm telling you, always walk away, no matter how bad you want to buy it. Go have a sandwich. Give yourself time to don't impulse buy shit.
Don't be afraid of doing what I do. Go to another dealership, even if you don't plan on buying that vehicle. Yeah, get the name of a salesman over there, so when you go back to the other guy,
you can give him that card. You know,
right? Say, hey, I talked to so and so at this other dealership.
To Fred, man.
We're working out a deal, but have an actual name there just in case they do call.
Sure, because they know the competition.
Right.
You know. They shop the competition.
I don't care if you're buying a TV.
But pressure works. That's why they.
But people need to stop being so easily manipulated and blaming their bad life choices on manipulation or advertising or.
But I think it's fair to
stand up for yourself. Grow a pair of balls
I think
and
it's
do
fair to
some
try
work.
to understand it though too, how it happens and why it happens, and it's not. I don't think it's all an excuse. I think there's a difference between an excuse and a reason, and to try to understand the reason why does the pressure work? How you know
Because people don't
why
stand
are
up for themselves.
people
People didn't do their
right?
homework before they went in to buy the
Why are
car.
people
So they're
not
going into the deal
doing that?
blind. They
Right?
have no idea what the dealership paid for trade-in on that vehicle. And I guarantee you it's a hell of a lot less than Kelly Blue Book said they
Oh,
should have paid for
yeah.
a trade-in.
They
They didn't pull a Carfax. They have no idea what the actual value of that
right.
vehicle is. So again, they're passing off personal accountability for excuses. Do 15 minutes of homework before you're going to go look at a vehicle. When you're on the lot and you see a vehicle you like, tell the salesman, I'm going to do some more research. I'll get back with you. And you go home and you sit, or you go on your phone and go to dinner and you do some research on that vehicle.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
not
hard to
hard.
stand up for
It's not
yourself
hard.
when
People
you
just
got the salesman sitting there, and then he goes and gets the sales manager, and then it's 2-on-1. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they make your chair shitty. That you're sitting in at a desk like this across from the salesman, and he's got this big, comfortable chair. It's all a mind fuck that's setting the stage that they have power and control over you, even though really they don't.
They have zero. They don't.
But
you don't owe them a damn thing.
They plant that in your head. Like you can't just discount like high pressure or advertising that the shit doesn't work, because obviously they were inundated with constant advertising because it does work. You can I watch people drink Kool-Aid and kill themselves because there's a meteor, because you know what I mean, because someone convinced them they were Jesus.
In my eyes, it's a laziness. People don't want to put in the work to do research. When I bought a new bow, it wasn't because YouTube gave me an advertisement for a hunting show on the one I decided. I researched different bows.
Yeah, but there's a reason why there's 5 main manufacturers of archery and not 75, right? Because advertising does work. You're going to buy from one of the 5, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but I still made up my own mind. I went and shot different bows. I didn't let the salesman convince me any one was better than the other. I didn't even ask their opinion. I told them the ones I wanted to shoot. I said, I want to shoot this one, this one, this one. All right, I went and shot them. What do you think? I didn't buy it that night. I thought about it. I did some more research. I watched more YouTube videos. I asked more friends what they thought about theirs versus the other one. Yeah, but I went in and shot with you too.
Right. And I shot different ones. Different. But I kind of knew that was the brand that I wanted to go with. I knew the difference between the brand I was shooting and that brand. I already kind of knew what the differences were. I read reviews and stuff. I did some research on it. I didn't know exactly which model I was going to fall on, and it was shooting them that kind of, and I'm happy with what I got. But again, you're going to buy one of the 5.
Yeah.
It's, because
I don't even think it's the advertisement though. I think that the 5 are the biggest because they invest the most into technology and R&D. And so they produce
at some point they start to pull away from the competition, and the competition withers on the vine and it dies, right? But I mean, they gotta get up front.
I think they are the best because they produce the best technology today.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're not buying one of the others. Like I shot Martin for years. I'm not buying a new Martin.
Right.
It's just not there. They just, again, they withered, right? Like they're still there, but
they're
the
not
technology
as competitive as what
just isn't there. They just don't have the
I was
money.
actually surprised with Bear that it was, as good as it is. Like I expected. I shot Matthews for a long time, like, and I'm a brand whore. I admit it, man. I kind of like that. Like, my Under Armour hoodie right here is any better than any other fucking hoodie? No, I got some generic ones that are almost the same material, probably made in the same factory.
I don't know. I bought some cheap hoodies that I just use for cutting wood or working on cars, and they're nowhere near the comfort of my Under Armour hoodies.
Yeah, I got some cheap ones that are probably. I'll wear one next week.
I think there is a level of quality that comes with a price point. Whether it's actually worth as much as you pay for them, I don't know. But I know.
No, not when I could buy this hoodie for or a knockoff of this one for a third of the price. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there's, but I buy
There,
the shit because I
I,
like the emblem. I like,
I think there
I'm a
is a
little bit
certain
of a
level of
brand whore.
quality because a lot of my workout clothes are Under Armour,
Yeah,
and I think there is a certain level of quality that comes with that brand, not just the
I don't
logo.
know. I think if it makes people work out more or feel better about working
No, no,
out, buy the
I'm
shit.
talking
But
about how long the clothes
yeah, I
last
know what you're
compared to other
saying, but
brands.
I'm saying in my mind,
Yeah,
it's just whatever. It's the placebo effect. This better clothes are more comfortable. Like I don't know. I like Under Armour gear. I got a lot of it.
mm-hmm.
I have a dozen different Under Armour hoodies,
Mm-hmm.
but I have some that are I don't know whatever they're Huntington or something like that. I got some generic ones that are I've had them forever. They're
Yeah.
just as good. But I admit I'm a brand whore. I
I'm
like
not loyal to anything. I'm not loyal to whatever.
you're loyal to Under Armour.
I'm not loyal. I don't have just
you
Under
know,
Armour workout clothes. I'm
right?
saying my Under Armours have lasted. The pair of shorts, I have two Under Armour shorts I usually wear when I
Yeah,
podcast. I have gray pair and black pair. I've had those shorts for 10 years.
right.
I don't even work out in them anymore. They're
Yeah,
just bed shorts now, and I just wear them around the house.
yeah.
And they still look damn good for being 10 years
I
old.
can't remember what that generic those basketball shirts I got. They're a generic brand. Like I got Under Armour ones too, but I don't know. I've had them for 6, 7 years now probably, and
Those are the
they're
only
still
two
good.
pairs I still have
Yeah.
of my that old. Yeah.
The one I think the one clothing line that I think was I was probably really loyal to and it was quality for a long time was Carhartt.
Yeah.
I wore a lot of
Yeah.
Carhartt shit
I got
because
some
it was
Carhartt shit.
and I
Yeah.
had some generic Carhartt stuff and it didn't last as
No.
long.
No, I know the kind you're talking about
Yeah,
too, and yeah, it
I'm
doesn't.
not gonna throw them under the bus, but
No.
yeah, it wasn't. Zippers start
Oh
failing,
yeah.
they fray
Tear
out,
out. And, yeah.
holes, the
Yeah.
fucking stuffing's falling out of it. I even caught one on fire once, so supposed to be flame retardant, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Not nearly as good, like
Yeah.
So I got Carhartt bibs and
Yeah.
parka from God. I think they're probably 26 years old, and I still
Yeah.
have them. Still
Right,
just
and
as
that's what
good.
I'm saying. I think there still is a level of quality you pay
So
for and you get.
sure, I mean, like I try to buy middle of the line stuff, like top
Mhm.
of line shit seems to not be as worth as much. But I
Yeah,
also fall for some advertising too of I'm,
there's a point to diminishing returns.
right.
Like how good do you have to have this work for how long, right?
As much of a salesman as I've been throughout my life. I mean, I know. I guess it's worse for me because I knowingly fall into it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even blind to it. I know what they're doing, and I accept a certain amount of it in my life. So like that Monster Energy drink I'm drinking right now. Is it any better than Bang or any of the 10 other ones that are out there now? Maybe, maybe not.
I
I
just
don't
like
know.
I will drink Rippets, but I like the flavors of
Yeah,
Monsters better. Rippets,
yeah. There was a couple Rippets that I liked
they're
a
all
lot,
right, but they
you
just
know.
don't have the flavor.
There's been a few times where I've been in the store and I'm going, $1 a can, $2.50 a can. Like, is it really? But
But for the little bit, I mean, I only drink one every couple. And I went down to the small cans now.
yeah,
I went down to the
I
small
noticed
can. I'm
that.
trying to cut back a little bit. But it's just a flavor for me.
Yeah.
Y'all pay the extra $1 because I only drink a couple a week.
I used to have a couple of the Monster stickers on my snowmobile,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean.
I still have one on my road bike helmet
yeah,
on the back. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I fall into that.
And mainly because the color matches my
I buy some
motorcycle. That's why it ended up on my
I
helmet.
buy some Harley shit that
Oh God,
it's
you don't want to get me going on that.
man.
We'll
I
end
love
up,
my
we'll end up,
Harley,
we'll end up
and
rolling around on the floor here.
but
I'll piss off half the internet.
Yeah.
You get me going on that.
Yeah, because we got two totally different motorcycles going here, but and I know it. You know what I mean? Like I'm falling kind of, but there is some quality in that too. Like I got a couple different leathers. I got Harley Davidson official, Harley Davidson leather, and I got some cheaper leathers. And again, is the quality the same? No, but I still wear my cheaper ones too. I like them. I got some with skulls and bones on it that
I mean, that's
reflect
a specific niche to where you're buying a lifestyle. You're not just
Right.
buying a motorcycle.
No,
you are buying a whole lifestyle.
The whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's we learned to stop.
And I love my Harley. You know what I mean? And I love my Harley gear.
That's if there is one advertising I say they did a good job on.
Yeah.
It's right there because when you buy one of those, you buy that.
You're
whole
buying everything.
You got the sign above your garage. You got the license plate on your truck.
Boots,
all the gear. It just becomes part of you.
It's just part of you. You know? Like the Under Armour is for your workout clothing. That's.
Yeah, but it's even worse with. I don't have an Under Armour sign hanging above the garage.
No,
it's like. Yet. No. Well, I was at the gym today, and I was getting ready. I was getting dressed, and we were talking about workout shit. And this gentleman next to me, he said, he goes, "Oh, I hope you have a good workout." I'm like, "Oh, thanks," And I noticed he was probably mid-70s, and I'm assuming
good for him,
I'm assuming Vietnam vet because his hat said USS blank.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, I hope you had a good workout." And he goes, "I did." He goes, "I need it." He goes, "Without it, I'm not the same person." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know what you mean." I said, if I don't work out, then I feel lazy, get tired through the day. He's like, "Yeah, it definitely gets the juices flowing." He said, "I don't even sleep good if I don't work out." He said, and and I noticed the same thing because when I fell off the roof, I didn't work out for a week.
Right.
And I noticed, I get up in the morning, I'm tired through the day, I'm just fucking dragging. I can't get it together. We're doing the podcast, and I'm just fucking spark knocking. And even that guy recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
Even at his age, how important it still is.
Sure.
I should have held more conversation with him. Yeah. I feel guilty for not thanking him for his service.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, did you thank him?
No, I didn't. Yeah. I feel like an asshole.
I try to. I do a lot, but I miss it sometimes,
Yeah.
Again, at any moment, someone could say something to me, and there's probably, at that split second that someone says something to me and I look over and acknowledge them, I probably have 32 different thoughts going through my head about different shit at the same time. My mind is racing in so many different
my mind
directions.
Is definitely in a different. You know what? He had a white beard too. Yeah. And later on, I thought that guy looked a lot like Santa.
Maybe he was.
Man, nobody's ever talked to me.
He's gonna eat a lot of Christmas cookies. So.
Nobody's ever talked to me in the locker room before.
Yeah.
That guy, he took a moment to,
best advertising for workouts I ever seen was.
Wish me a good workout. I thought, wow, that's cool.
I think it was Planet Fitness. I want to say they had this. They say don't be a lug. We don't tolerate that kind of bullying.
Oh yeah.
And it's this beast of a man, rubbing down his muscles, and this nerdy little guy in there, and he's like, "Did you get your burn on?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Burning," and the kid's like, "Oh my god, this guy's gonna eat me!" Yeah. Like, it was great. Like, every time I seen that commercial, I laughed my ass off, and it did kind of make me want to go in and get a membership there. I thought, if they're willing to put that, just kind of thought into their marketing, like now a lot of it's just. We've watched TV together, and I've said it. I feel like I'm getting dumb watching this. Yeah. Like, by the second, I'm losing my intelligence. So,
no doubt.
They just don't. Yeah, marketing isn't the way it used to be. Too bad. It used to be an art. Those the commercials for the Super Bowl ads. Come on, man! Like, those were awesome, and just last handful of years, they're just not. It's not that good.
These shitheads on corporate media, I watched them this morning with a gleeful smile on their face. AAA is projecting this is going to be the best the most amount of people traveled in 2 years.
Yeah, because for 2 years you couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
So if you walk to your neighbor's house, like, wow, look at the travel that's going on.
I'm like.
Again, man, just brainwashing people,
I thought the audacity to be gleeful, like, oh, this is the busiest traveled Thanksgiving in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder why. Oh, we should just stop right there.
I'm going to order that shirt from Luke, though. That's, what is it, Biden Fetterman 2024. It's a no-brainer. God, that's great. I love it. Yeah.
I got on, and I might end up ordering a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it said, "Make 1984 fiction again."
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go.
yeah, I like
I
that one.
like
He was
it.
wearing it the other
Yeah.
night, and I saw it. I'm like, that's pretty
Yeah.
clever.
That's clever.
That's
I like
clever.
it.
And it had the same. It's just a square. You know, it's
Right.
not big and gaudy. You know.
Yeah.
But I thought just for the podcast, I wear a
Yeah.
long sleeve under it and wear that over top of
Sure.
it.
That'd
I
be
thought that
cool.
was out of all the ones I've seen him wear for some
Yeah.
reason. Make 1984 fiction again.
Yeah. Man, they come up with some cool
Yeah.
shirts. I'll give them
Yeah.
that. You know. I mean, some of them are kind of obvious, just
Yeah.
very pointed, but some of them are really they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, he put some thought into it. And the fact that he can come up with a different one 5 days a week.
All the time.
How far out is he? Because he's got to get that to
Right.
wear it for that night. So he had the one you're seeing. He had to think of what, a month ago,
Yeah, I would think
to have it printed,
And he's
shipped.
using, was it Teespring or whatever the
It
name of
wasn't
the one
Teespring.
company
I got on there last night.
Yeah.
It might have been. I didn't think it was.
No, he said yesterday that that's one of the companies they use.
Oh, was it? Because
Yeah.
I was looking at that
Yeah, because
one.
someone had made a comment about the shirt that they ordered it and never came or something. He said, well, you got to reach out to. And he rattled off a couple of companies, and Teespring was one of them.
Okay, so maybe they.
Because he uses multiple companies.
Trying.
They actually, there's the 1984 one.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep, right there.
Is it this one?
Uh,
I was gonna see if it showed who.
Pretty awesome. Some of those shirts he comes up with, though.
Yeah, I was gonna see if they showed who.
So yeah, for the holiday, we're going casual today.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get fat and pumpkin pies and turkeys. Yeah, I like that.
They're not smart.
Lots of
go for a run in the morning before you eat all that
food. Yeah.
Go for a run in the morning. Gym's closed, so can't go to gym tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go for a run in the morning. Get up. Go for a walk. Can't run.
I'm hunting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hunt in the morning too.
Yeah. I'm hunting.
I haven't hunted Thanksgiving in a long time.
Yeah, it's just something special about hunting Thanksgiving, man. Like,
My dad always had good luck Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's kind of special. So I try to never miss it. Though, depending on, if you're having dinner with people and when dinner is, I mean, sometimes it kind of euchres you, but yeah, I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, last year we ran a 5K in the morning, and then we had dinner at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something. So we had dinner at
12 pounds of turkey. Replace some of that protein.
No, only just a little, not too much. This year it's 3 o'clock Thanksgiving dinner, so go hunting in the morning. Good time to get cleaned up and do some shit around here, and I gotta get my Euro mount done on my skull.
Speaking of something I want to bring up too, just being someone that's dealt with depression for like my entire life, practically. This can be a really hard time of year for people.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
If you guys got a friend or family member, just someone that that just struggles sometimes with this, and then you add cabin fever on top of it, the winter blues, like, check on them. Just because, man, holidays can be a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but they can really depress the shit out of people. So, and if you're one of the people that suffer from that, like, reach out. Like, don't suffer in silence, man. Just, submerge yourself in the things that you don't feel like doing, because those are the things that's going to make you feel better. And it's trying to talk you out of doing it. You know what I mean? So just go for a run, get some exercise.
You'd be surprised. Did you see
spend some time with friends and family, even though you just want to sit at home suffering alone? Don't. Please just check on people, because it gets real lonely. It's just, I was thinking about the holidays and just, the holiday blues, that a lot of people suffer from that. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Depression just sucks, it's tough. It's like a self-sustaining entity in you that just, man, it talks you out of doing anything that could make you feel better. It tries.
Yeah, I'd seen a study on medication and exercise,
Exercise
and
is tremendous for depression.
yeah,
Hmm.
and it's hard to get out there and do it.
Right.
But once you get
Because it
moving,
doesn't, you don't want to, right? It's like, and I'm telling you, people that, when
and it
when you
does.
seek professional help for depression, like, like they structure your life, like you're going to get up at this time, you're going to take a shower, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do this, you're going to eat, you're going to exercise, you're going to, because depression will try to talk you out of doing anything. Just lay on the couch and just, you got crumbs hanging out of your beard, like,
Right, right, and that's
what
what
I
this
mean?
talks about
Yeah.
here, about how depression manifests physically by causing disturbed sleep, reduced
Hmm.
energy, appetite, changed body aches, increased pain
Yeah.
perception, all which result in less
Yeah.
motivation exercise. And it says this is from Harvard too,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Harvard
Harvard
Health.
Health.
Yep. And yeah,
So
do
it's just
some
something I wanted to
research.
bring up,
Yeah, do some research.
this
Yeah, definitely get some help. Talk
today
to
the sun
someone.
was shining a little, and it felt good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got outside a little bit and did some prep work for hunting tomorrow, and got some batteries put in my camera, and it was just kind of nice to see some sunlight. It was like after a week of just snow and gray, right? Like
Oh
it
yeah.
felt really good to just, and it kind of triggered that, like, wow, yeah, it's
Well, that
between,
goes.
loneliness of the holidays, and then, missing people that might not be with you anymore, or, and then just the winter blues on top of it. No wonder why everyone feels like shit, through the winter and the holidays.
Well,
Like,
but again,
you
I
know,
I think it comes down to, obviously go to your doctor and get your
yeah,
blood work checked.
sure,
Find out if you're deficient in something, because that can
yeah,
have a huge effect on how you
sure
feel.
can,
And I know from personal experience, exercise and you'll feel better. You
hmm,
will feel 100% better.
right,
I I went to the gym and I beat the shit out of all the demons today.
yeah,
I just, because they're in your ear. You
right,
done enough. It's okay.
yeah,
Quit now. Quit now. Quit
right,
now. You done enough, right? It's always there in
yeah,
my ear. It's always there. Just quit. That's enough. That's enough. You did enough, right? You did enough. You did more than these two people next to
yeah,
you. You're good, right? No.
yeah.
You got to
It
push
sure does
through.
help.
It'll help you. I promise you. The first day it may not, but it gets better, and it gets better,
Yeah,
and then you start crushing these demons, and it gets better.
yeah. Just you got to push back,
I
man.
had a
Don't
family
don't
member.
accept
I
it.
just had this conversation at our Thanksgiving last Saturday, and I don't even know how we got on health because I didn't bring it up. I try not to get into health and politics because I'm very opinionated when it comes to
Right.
that. But a
You don't
family,
say.
but a family member goes, "Well, what are you supposed to do when your doctor says that any strenuous exercise could cause
Yeah.
more issues with your back?"
Right.
And I said,
Something
"I
I
don't
suffer
know.
from.
I don't know. What did the doctor tell the blind guy that I saw walking on the treadmill next to me?
Right.
What did the doctor tell the guy in the wheelchair at the hand rowing machine? What did
Yeah.
the doctor tell the 500-pound guy that I saw that could barely not crush a pedal machine?"
Right.
And I said, "You don't think if you lost 70 pounds, your doctor wouldn't be happy about that and you might not feel better and then it might not cause the problems that you have?"
It's gonna, yeah. The
It's
benefit outweighs the risk, man.
nobody's saying go in there and try running 3 miles at 8 miles an hour.
Took me
Walk,
took
walk on
me
the
took
treadmill.
me a while,
You
you
can do
know.
something. If
And I
that
started
blind
walking,
guy,
then it was walking and spurts of running, and then it was just, running a short distance, and then it was, just I kept building onto it and building onto
it
it.
seems impossible and it seems like such a task.
But I got
But
there. And I'm a big
once
guy, right?
once
Like,
you
you
start
know,
and once you get it again, and I think it helps create consistency in your life. If you set a time each day to do this, and then you set a time to do this, now you got to start building a schedule. You got to start
right.
building some
And it's
structure.
not just exercise. Like they did, I read a study that just people that get up and make their bed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Once
like
once you
you
start
know
with
what I
one
mean? Yeah,
thing, if you say, okay, every day I'm
because
going to walk at
I make
5
my bed
p.m.
every morning. I
Right,
get up, I get dressed, I make my bed.
right,
Every morning.
right,
Like, and I can't even stand it messy now. Like,
right.
it's
Start
just part of me.
start building consistency and
Hmm.
routine in your life, and your life won't be
Routines,
so
they help.
hectic and chaotic.
Yeah, they help.
I saw research, and they're talking. I wasn't even aware of this myself. That was even affecting me. But if you have things that are messy in your life, whether it's your toolbox or your sock drawer or your shed or your garage or your car,
sink full of dirty dishes,
these things linger in the back of your mind. Even though they're not at the forefront, they're lingering back. They're causing stress and anxiety in your mind.
They make you feel overwhelmed.
Right. And you're not even aware of it. You're not thinking about the toolbox drawers being messy. But when you have to fix something, your anxiety is automatically triggered because you know you're not going to be able to find what you need, where you need it in that toolbox. So it just creates more anxiety. And then you lash out at your wife because she wants you to fix a drawer that's broken.
Right.
But you have anxiety because you know your toolbox is a shit show and you're not going to be able to find anything.
Yeah.
So you lash out at her and you guys start fighting over it. All because you...
Whole chain reaction of bullshit.
Right.
You know? Organize it.
Put some organization in your life. Start with one
I
thing.
do have some messy organization, which is, it's kind of like chaotic to someone else, but it makes sense in my brain. Like I know where everything is, and
it may be.
And when people have messed with it, like it's given me severe anxiety. There are some things that are very much neat and in its place, but there are other things that are just it makes sense in my head. You know what I mean? The way.
Well, you may justify it instead of dealing with it.
Or maybe it just really makes sense, you know, to me. Because I think everybody's brain kind of works a little. Mine is kind of chaotic.
I used to, but the only reason I can speak from experience on this, because I used to think the same thing. What does it matter if that's out of place? I know where the things are. But once I put them into place, all of a sudden it was like this little thing just left. Like it's weird. It's like, oh shit, like. All of a sudden, I was worrying about that, even though I didn't know I was worrying about that.
Right.
Because it's so overwhelming to have to think about dealing with that, right? Mm. But once I did it and I put it in place.
Because I've had some of that stuff organized, and it just bothered the shit out of me. Like, I liked it the way it was. Organized chaos, I think is what I called it. But I remember on the farm, you know, I could go out in the yard and like a foot of snow and kick a spot and know like this is where that pump is that I left laying around. You know, like I knew exactly where it was.
You knew where it was, but the stress and anxiety, knowing that it was buried in the snow instead of dry and put up in the garage, you know, where you didn't have
some
to
of that. I didn't
have
the room to organize it that well either. So maybe that's why there was a certain amount of that was just acceptable. Because I think that the anxiety of trying to put the stuff away when you didn't really have the space for it or the room for it or the area, you know, dedicated. Like I didn't have a garage, right?
You had
I had the
portable
the tarp one, but to even try to put shelves in there was difficult. You know, I needed gravel. I needed to have it leveled off. I tried to organize some of that stuff, but it was more work than just knowing where it's at under the snow, you know, and then I was free to worry about other shit that to me was, I guess, more important. But
I can't argue with the studies. I mean, these are professionals that broke down these plans, and I can't argue it, especially when it took me accepting that maybe I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I had the same organized chaos, and I still do in some fashion. Trust me, my workbench in that back room is a shit show, and I know it's stopping me from doing things I need to do back there because I have to deal with it, right?
Yeah,
and even though I'm not back there seeing it when I'm at work, it's still lingering in the back of my mind, you know.
Yeah,
and it's something I have to deal with, and it's an ongoing process. But my sock drawer, I've been very disciplined. I fold my underwear, and I have underwear for work, working out, and then going out, you know, and I have my socks, and I have my night shirts, and I have my night. I've been very disciplined at trying to
I'm pretty good
slowly
with that
tackle, you know, put thing in, organize, and just focus on that. Not everything. You can't just attack everything and just expect to fix everything.
Start one specific thing and
work on that for a couple months, keeping that one thing organized. And then move once that's become your routine,
create healthy habits,
right?
And it kind of manifests in other areas of your life. I don't know, and I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm just trying to understand why I do some of the shit I do that, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think, and that was it's not really a fair example of living on that farm because it wasn't the typical lifestyle either. That was kind of extreme living. So, and then had I had a couple more years, had I put a dozen years out there instead of 7, I think I would have worked some of those kinks out over time. But yeah, it was an adventure. I can say that.
No doubt. What do you think? We chewed up an hour.
We chewed up an hour. We were gonna go 40, so we could go another 3.
I know we could. I could just keep talking, but I'm actually getting hot in this freaking hoodie, man. All right,
let's call it.
Like, share, subscribe, follow us all over social media. Tell your friends and family about it. Maybe play one of these at Thanksgiving. So check these guys out.
Put it in the background.
Try to just get the word out and help us out.
Happy Turkey Day, everybody.
Yeah, worked on the lighting a little bit in here.
Yeah, I like it. I think
trying to
the studio's really coming along, man. It's just
trying to bring better content, trying to do some more live research. And
the video doesn't really do the justice. Really, it's impressive. It's a nice studio. It's it's a great place. I like sitting in here and just pondering shit. So.
Try not to get too serious at Thanksgiving dinner either, Keep it light. No sense in fighting with family you only see once a year. Leave that shit for your coworkers and
It's about good times, man. Make good memories, right? Because tomorrow's not promised.
No, you don't gotta talk politics. And shit.
Table all that shit for later, man.
Just enjoy your family.
Yeah, enjoy some family and friends and turkey and ham.
All right. Peace and love, everyone.
All right.